Have you ever felt that nagging guilt from putting things off, even if you know it's holding you back? Let's be real, procrastination is something that we all struggle with, okay? Or we have struggled with. But have you ever stopped to think what it actually costs you? It's not just about the time you lose, it's about the opportunities you're missing. Or your unachieved goals. Or honestly, your loss of confidence. And procrastination is more than just a small habit, okay? It infects your entire life. For example, for me, I used to think it was a small habit. I used to think, it's just a little negative quirk about me. I like to put things off till the very last second. But it's more than that, okay? It takes away so much from you. And once you realize that, that's when you can really and truly start working on ways to combat your procrastination. And although the idea of procrastination seems small, it's actually more harmful than what we might think. It comes across so negatively, but it comes across in such small increments that we don't even begin to notice it until it's too late. Today we're going to tackle the real reasons behind procrastination and how we can tackle it. Because listen, I'm not about just giving you motivational advice. I'm about giving you ways to tackle that issue. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. My name is Hannah, and my hair is looking a little bit flat today. Honestly, couldn't tell you why. Also, I am filming this at 4 o'clock. Can we just take note? It's pitch black outside. Anyway, as usual, I have split the video into sections and chapters along the bottom, so it's easy for you guys to find what specifically you need to be looking at. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because I post shorts every single day and a video every single week. Also, put comments down below if you would like to see a specific video, because I love doing that for you guys. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Section 1 is why we procrastinate, the real reasons. So why do we procrastinate? And a lot of people kind of associate procrastination with laziness. Oh, you're just too lazy to complete the task. Or some people use the excuse, I'm driven by the adrenaline rush to get my work done in the 30 minutes before it's due. But in actual fact, I think a majority of people deal with the idea of failure. They don't want to fail, okay? And if they have a reason to procrastinate, that means they can avoid the idea of failure altogether. Because truthfully, if we don't try, we can't fail, right? That's what the general consensus is. Or maybe for you, it's perfectionism. I mean, if it's not perfect, why would you even begin to bother? But I think personally for me, I always deal with the idea of failure, I hated the idea of failing. I have spoke about this in my previous videos. I thrive on the idea of academic validation more than anything else, okay? I want people to recognize me for my academic integrity. So I need you to take a second to really think about what's stopping you, and don't come up with a lie for yourself, because it's not going to help you, okay? In order for you to combat this, you need to be honest and truthful with yourself, and the only way we can do this is by you opening up to yourself. Some of the reasons could be something as simple as comfort. You get comfort from procrastination. I think because when you have a deadline or you have something to work on, you are stepping out of your comfort zone. You're stepping out of a scheduled day which is comfortable to you. And I think that's also because we get so attached and so comfortable to our regular routine that when we step out of it, those bonds break, okay? And sometimes it feels like, oh my god, what do we do with ourselves? And I know that happened a lot for me as well, because I would have my days blocked and charted out, okay? And if one particular activity for my schoolwork would take a really long time and it would come onto another time block, that's it, my day's ruined, because it's messed up my entire schedule. And then at that point, I think it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable for us. And I think that's also a contributing factor to procrastination. So I want you to quickly stop for a second and actually think about it. What actually makes you procrastinate? Is it the fear of not being good enough? Is it the idea that you want everything to be perfect? The idea when you're in your comfort zone, and I've talked about this in a previous video, is that you get so used to your comfort zone, but in turn, it's a tit for tat. You will end up getting trapped in it. You will not be able to escape that comfort zone, and in the end, it's going to negatively impact you. It's not going to do anything good for you. Even though in the short term, it feels like it's good, in the long term, it's not going to be good for you. And remember, when you're thinking about these things, don't feel ashamed. We've all gone through it. Let me tell you, I've gone through it. Look at the advice I give you now. I give you this advice because I've gone through it, okay? And hopefully when you battle through these things and you get through these obstacles, then you're able to help someone else that maybe needs more advice than you. Section 2 is the brutal truth to self-sabotage. And I'm gonna rip off this band-aid here and now. It's gonna sound a little intense, but procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. And I'm going to say this once, okay? If you are on a self-development journey and you're doing everything else, that's no good. I'll be honest with you, that's no good if you can't get past procrastination. Because the thing with procrastination is that you need to work on, stopping yourself from holding yourself back. Because the idea of procrastination is that you are holding yourself back. That's literally the idea of it, okay? You're not letting yourself progress. So if you think you can progress in self-development, that's impossible because you haven't mastered procrastination, which the pinpoint of it is holding yourself back, not letting yourself flourish. And I know with me saying that procrastination is a form of self-sabotage sounds intense, okay? It does. It sounds like, oh my god, she's blowing things out of proportion. But I'm not, okay? Just take a second and think about it. Because every time you decide to put off a task, you're holding yourself back. You're keeping yourself in that same place with no development, okay? And what is that? What do you call that? That is literally self-sabotage because you are hindering any progress that you can make for yourself. Guys, there was a time I had a really important project due, okay? It was my extended project qualification. And this was the first time in my life I had to take on a project independently. And that means that there was no checkups for me. There was no one checking in to see if I was staying on top of the work, okay? So obviously this is meant to be a great project. It's really meant to develop you. But what did I do? Should I tell you what I did? I kept putting it off. I said, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start the plan tomorrow. Oh, maybe I'll, start to structure it tomorrow. That never came. I wrote that project. You're given a year to write this. I wrote the project in 2 days. I made a presentation for it and I wrote it in 2 days. I paid the consequences. I mean, I myself could have got an A for that. Instead, I got a B, which to some people is great. But for some people, like myself, like I mentioned before, I crave academic validation. So to see the fact that because I procrastinated, because I held myself back, because I kept giving myself that idea, I'm gonna start tomorrow and I'm gonna stay in my comfort zone, I ended up jeopardizing myself. And God knows what opportunities could have opened for me if I had actually put the time and effort in instead of procrastinating. And I'll tell you why I procrastinated so much with this project. It was the fear of starting something new, okay? Going into a new territory that I've never been in before, and then having the idea that if I mess this up, that's it, I'm a failure, okay? It was that idea of failing that really held me back, which looking back now, so stupid. Why would I think like that? Okay, surely I would have known my own capabilities enough to think, hey, I can tackle anything else, okay? Academically, I'm doing so well at the moment, so why can I not tackle this? And this was a wake-up call for me. Like, I think almost everyone goes through some sort of phase or event that helps them wake up from this dream of procrastination. Ever since I saw that grade paper with my grade on it, knowing I could have done better if I hadn't procrastinated, I have been so on top of my work, okay? As soon as I get an assignment for uni now, I do it, finish it, and then if I've got time left over, maybe a day before it's due, if I want to do the fourth final check on it, I can, because I have that opportunity to improve my work without rushing it. I can give in the best possible version and be so happy with myself, be content, because I know I'm not holding myself back, and whatever comes back, whatever grade comes back, I'm happy. I'm a happy person because I know I put my all into it. I didn't rush it. I didn't hold myself back trying to rush it. I think there's so many factors that kind of contribute into this that, a lot of people don't tend to see. They kind of see it when it's too late. And I'm giving my own personal experiences of academic examples, but this could apply to any aspect of your life. Postponing meeting someone because you're scared, you don't want to go and network. Oh, my boss has told me that I have to do this, but it's not critical for me to do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Your boss has asked you to do it. Why wouldn't you do it? I mean, if you can prove to your boss that you are capable of these things, wouldn't they consider you for a promotion? Wouldn't they consider that you have the potential for them to even consider about giving? That is more than what you would have started with. I don't understand how you could give up an opportunity like that. I don't know, it sounds like, oh, she's talking and she's just sitting there. I've been through it. I told you, I've given you examples of my life that I've been through it. So I know exactly how you're feeling. And I think the only way to relay this is by giving you harsh examples, telling you the truth, because there's no point of me sugarcoating things for you guys, because sugarcoating things is never going to help you. I mean, frankly and honestly, if someone was sugarcoating something to me like this, I wouldn't want to know. I'd much rather someone come to me, tell me, rip off the band-aid, and tell me the honest, hard truth. So let's choose to look at procrastination as a choice, okay? It's not, don't do it, that's it. Let's look at it as a choice, because I think that's a bit more easier for you to digest. If you choose to let it go, if you choose to let procrastination out the window, out the door, the amount of opportunities, doors, windows, whatever will open for you will blow your mind. And if you need a drive or an incentive, think about the opportunities that could have opened for you if you hadn't procrastinated that one specific task. And I know everyone has a one task in their life that they just wish they hadn't procrastinated with. So go back, think about it. For example, if you have just finished your GCSEs, like your SATs, GCSEs, think about if you had procrastinated for studying for those exams. Think about what could have been the other possible outcome if you hadn't procrastinated with those exams. What could that have been? Do you think you would have got into a better university, a better college, apprenticeship, like your dream job? Like, you know, if you had actually put the time and effort in, because think about the results that would have come out if you hadn't procrastinated. Section 3 is unconventional strategies to break free. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I just don't like to ramble at you and talk to you and give you no solution, because what's the point? Why am I going to talk to you and not give you a solution? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you guys solutions, ways to open those doors, ways to fix the procrastination. And if you choose to take it on, amazing. I'm so proud of you. If you don't, you're still keeping the video in mind, I'm still proud of you, because regardless, you still have that sort of intention to work on procrastination because you clicked on the video. Oh, you clicked on it because you saw me. I don't know, but you had the intention, and that's what matters, okay? Like, I don't want people to leave this video thinking, oh, I'm not starting, oh my god, I'm like the worst person ever. That is not the case. You had the intention to start, and you know, that is in itself something to be proud of. So I think I should throw that out there, because I think sometimes the way I come across can be a little bit harsh, but yeah. I just want to let you guys know. Strategy 1, small, immediate actions. One trick that works, which is so mind-blowing because it's so simple, and oftentimes in self-development journeys, it is the simple things that work. Start with just 5 minutes. Now, if there's something that you've been putting off, and it could be something simple, it could be cleaning your desk, you know, vacuuming your room, it could be organizing a box, it could even be like closing all the tabs on your computer, okay? If there's one task that you've just been putting off, then do it. Take 5 minutes and do it. And oftentimes, if you know it's a longer task, so say for example, it is a longer task and you know you're in university and you're doing a reading, oftentimes readings do take quite a while. You know, if you start with the 5 minutes, you'll end up finding yourself completing the whole thing. Because once you started, you're off, you're gone. And more oftentimes than not, you will finish the task. And you know, I've done this a couple times when I was trying to combat my procrastination after the whole extended project qualification situation. It really genuinely shocked me. And you know, I never heard anyone talk about this. You know, maybe there are people that have spoke about it, but me personally, I never had anyone talk about this before. What you really need to actually get started is for something to give you the incentive and build momentum. Strategy 2 is visualize success and failure. I have quite an active imagination. If I want to imagine an apple in front of me, I can imagine it. But I like to envision myself, if I completed that specific task, what are the successful outcomes? And if I didn't complete it, what are the outcomes that maybe aren't so good, the failures of it? And truthfully, when I started doing this changed my approach to procrastination, because I would picture and envision the worst failures ever for myself. I would genuinely put myself into situations where I'd be like, oh my god, if that could happen, I don't want it. Because I would put it into realistic situations, like some really scary experiences of me not completing the work. Oh my god, you know, if I don't keep completing the work, I'm gonna get kicked out of uni. Like, I put myself into really scary situations, and in turn, I mean, it scared me enough to want to do the work. And also what I would gain if I actually did put my mind to the work, and what I would miss out on, which also scared me because I didn't want to miss out on any opportunities that came my way. Because the one thing about opportunities is if they come your way, you should take them, okay? Because not everyone is as blessed as you to be receiving those opportunities, and there's someone out there in the world that would kill to have those opportunities. For example, so around this time every year, like around the winter arc, I like to picture myself or where I'll be in a year's time. So I knew last year I really wanted to do a master's, right? That was like top of my list. And why am I doing that? I'm doing the masters. But I did also have to picture the negativity of it. I thought, okay, because I was doing my dissertation, I thought, because some very scary, sad things happened in the summer. But I thought, okay, right, so if I don't decide to do my dissertation, or if I leave it last minute, if I don't do well, and I just put it off, because there are things that come up in your life and it puts a hindrance into all the work you made on yourself, that, you know, I thought, okay, if I just stop, so what, I'm not going to get a master's. And I had to put myself into that situation for me to wake up and realize that, you know what, I've been given an opportunity. So many people would kill to be in the situation I am in, to do a dissertation, to be able to complete uni, and then have the opportunity to go and do further education and further broaden my intelligence. Do you know how many people would want that? So I had to wake myself up. I said, listen, this is not going to go on. This is not acceptable. And lo and behold, it worked. And I am so proud of myself for getting through that hurdle, because it is definitely a difficult period. Strategy 3 is accountability. Accountability is huge, okay? So find someone that, you know, you trust. It could be a friend, family member, member of staff, or even if you start documenting online, so you could be making short TikTok vlogs or recording your progress on TikTok. It doesn't matter if anyone sees it. It doesn't matter. If there's one person that sees it, great. That means someone has seen it and someone's waiting for that result. And when I started telling people, oh, okay, I need to do this, I would say to them, listen, don't be scared. If you don't see me doing it, tell me, okay? I want you to tell me that I'm not doing it. I want to be held accountable for my actions. And knowing that someone else was there to stay on top of me made me feel, because I don't like it when people are hovering over me, okay? That's the one thing I just genuinely dislike, okay? So to know that someone was constantly hovering, and to get them off my back, I made sure I did everything. And you'd be surprised how much easier it is to stick to your plans if you know there's someone else that is watching out for you. Strategy 4 is break down tasks, and this is the last strategy. So if you have a big project, it can feel overwhelming, and I think anyone could say that, okay? It doesn't matter how strong you are, you're gonna find a huge project overwhelming. You wouldn't know where to start, right? And again, that can lead into procrastination. You're like, I need to give myself some time to think about it. But in reality, you're just pushing it back. So break it down into smaller pieces, bite-sized chunks. So for example, if you're working on a presentation, and that could be for work or for uni, school, whatever, right? You're working on a presentation and you're just so overwhelmed by the whole concept of a presentation. Don't worry, okay? Break it down. Start with either presentation 1. Think about ideas for presentation 1, or just a general consensus for what you want your presentation to be about, how you want the presentation. You don't have to sit down and write about it. You could be on your way to work, you know? You've still got 3 weeks until it's due, okay? You're on the train, on your way to work. You're just sitting there, looking out the window. Think about it then. Think about it. If you have a really good idea, type it in your notes. You have your phone on you, type it in your notes. If you break things down into smaller chunks, it's gonna be so easy. But I think because we get so enveloped by the idea of how big like that task is gonna be, we kind of get put off. We just don't want to do it because it just seems too huge to tackle. And we're like, can we do that? Like, I don't think I can do that by myself. So I think when you break it down, and trust me, when you complete it, you're gonna be so proud of yourself. Like, I know I'm saying it, but wait till you do it. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I did that. I feel so good. I feel so powerful. Like, you're gonna feel great. And when you start to approach tasks this way as well, I just want to add this, it literally makes other tasks feel like, oh my God, I can do anything. And the more you keep doing this, the more it makes you feel like, oh my God, nothing's impossible. And by focusing on one part as well, it takes that pressure off you, which I think a lot of people need. They need that pressure off them. So I think by focusing on one tiny little thing of that project will help. Section 4 is my personal experience and what I have learned from overcoming procrastination. So I think you guys have got the gist. I used to be a master of procrastination. Okay, I'll cut to the chase. I was the master of procrastination. If there was an opportunity to procrastinate, count me up. I was there, okay? And I delay things. I tell myself, oh, you know, I'll get to them later. It doesn't really matter. I'll do them eventually. Because again, academic validation. So I would get it done, but it wouldn't be to the best quality. And one time I missed a deadline, okay? I missed the deadline and, you know, I can't even use the excuse, I didn't know there was a deadline. I knew there was a deadline, but I didn't complete the work on time. I wanted the work to be so perfect, but because I left it so last second, I missed the deadline. And you know, although I didn't get any academic consequences for it, I felt something. I felt the consequences. The feelings I felt so disappointed in myself. I felt regret. I just felt so genuinely disgusted. The fact that I would do something like that to myself, the fact that I would hinder myself like that. But yeah, I still not learnt my lesson until the extended project qualification. And that was the real final push for me to start to realize, you know, start to understand that maybe what I'm doing with this procrastination is really holding me back. It's really negative. And it was costing me more than I thought. And it pushed me to realize, to make sure that I had to make a change. And you know, change doesn't come overnight. I was still struggling with this because I got these grades just before I went into university. So I still was struggling with procrastination. I was getting better, but I was still struggling in university during first year. So obviously I still had to tackle that. I still had to take on strategies and ways to combat it. But this isn't for me just to say, oh my god, I changed overnight. Why can't you change overnight? It took me 1 year. 1 year to combat procrastination. Because the thing is, like I always say with self-development journeys, it's not a destination. Oh, okay, you know, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna happen overnight. No, it's a journey. It's like a fun, exploring expedition. Like, you know, it takes time to get there, okay? That's also a big misconception where people are like, hey, I'm gonna start my self-development journey, I'm gonna be better. And they expect it to happen overnight. It doesn't work like that. So, you know, I think with me telling you, it took me a year. So I want you guys to understand that just because I'm saying, do this, oh my god, why can't you do this, blah, 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 it's holding you back. I don't want you guys to, again, think, oh, well, you know, it probably was easy for her. It was not easy for me. None of my self-development journeys were easy for me. But truthfully, they weren't easy for me. And to really combat them, the strategies that I shared with you today is what personally worked for me. So if you do have other strategies that may have worked for you, then please share them. Oh my god, share them in the comments, because obviously what works for me may not work for you. And so, but what worked for you might work for someone else. You know what I mean? So add them into the comments, because truthfully, you don't know who you're helping. But I think you can see in this video, I'm a lot more passionate about this specific topic because I've been there. I've been there and I've suffered real consequences from it. You know, I've seen the grade on a paper that could have, you know, if I actually had put time and effort into it, could have changed my whole life. And if I didn't experience that, then I may not have fixed it, and I could still be in procrastination. I may not have even got a good grade for uni. I may not have even pursued my master's. I could have still been working my part-time job as usual. So there are a lot of things that could have happened, but because I stopped my procrastination, finally woke up, then I kind of started to realize, oh my god, things that have happened to me in my life that I'm so impressed by, that I'm so happy with, has happened because of that one wake-up call of me stopping procrastination. And I really do hope that happens with you guys. I really hope, because if this video has not helped you wake up, then I want you guys, as horrible as it sounds, to have a moment where it does make you wake up. Because some of you might leave this video and be like, whatever, she's just mumbling a bunch of mishmash. I want you guys to experience something that will make you wake up, because that's then the only way. Because once you experience something for yourself, because it's all good for me to give you my personal experiences, but because they haven't happened to you personally, you're not going to know what they feel like. You're not going to know the disappointment, the envy, that rage you feel on yourself. It's going to be astronomical, but it will help you wake up. Section 5 is a call to action, and take a step now. So here's my challenge. Normally I like to give you guys like a little piece of homework or a little challenge at the end of a video. And so today's one is, after you finish this video, okay, I want you to start one thing that you've been putting off. Okay, set a 5-minute timer, no longer, no less. I want you to start on that task you've been putting off. Now it could be the laundry, it could be ironing, it could be making your bed, it could be anything. Okay, I'm not saying start a huge piece of work right now after you finish this video. It could be the smallest thing, making your bed, okay? By doing that, you're taking your first step. But I don't want you to stop there. If you do decide to do this, and again, no pressure if you don't want to do it, but if you do decide, hold accountability. Put it in the comments. Say, hey guys, I'm gonna do this right now. And then put it in the comments. Tell us what you're gonna do, and we can check up on you. That's accountability. And yes, it sounds scary, but I promise you, everyone in my community is super friendly, okay? I'm telling you now, and people that will stumble across this video are part of the self-development community, and you know, they've been in the same space as you. So I want you to know that people are not going to be mean or malicious to you in the comments. People are not going to come up with awful things being like, oh, is that what you're really doing? Like, are you actually, like, you know, you could do more. No one's going to say that to you. And I think that's also because the beautiful thing about this community, which I've seen more in this community than anything else, is that we're all in this together. Because we're all on a journey, separate journeys, but we're all kind of facing similar things together. And I think that's really beautiful because it really ties us together, and it really makes us feel like we can rely on one another. Every big goal starts with one small action, okay? You have to remember that. Please remember that. And I really don't want procrastination to be the reason that you don't reach your goals, because your goals are so beautiful and they have such deep meaning to you that I don't want something as stupid as procrastination to stop you from getting there. And that is so sad to think about, because, you know, you probably had the potential to achieve those goals. You can't because of the procrastination. So that's why I'm so insistent on you trying to complete those strategies, do that challenge, because it does help build that momentum. Because even though after you've done the challenge, you're like, oh, that was so much effort, you know, that 5 minutes was so much effort. But afterwards, it may not be even an hour after, it could be like 3 days later. You'd be like, hang on a minute, I did that in like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. I can do that again. And it will start to build that momentum, okay? Like I said, it's gradual. Like for me, it took a year. So it does take sometimes quicker for you. It might take longer, but you will get there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love talking about topics like this. As you can tell, I can get very passionate about it. And I think that's just because I just truly, deeply, honestly want to help you as much as I can. And so I think that's why I end up getting so deep rooted into the conversation. I love you all so much. Thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and turn on that notification bell. And remember, I am still so proud of you. Whatever path you're on, I'm so proud. And that's what you need to know, okay? As long as you try, that's all that matters. And I love you all so much, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.